Good God.
If you're an adventure or dual sport rider, you're always looking for easier and more convenient ways to pack luggage and supplies on your bike. Tusk has developed a complete pannier system to give adventure riders an affordable solution to this. The Tusk Panniers and Pannier Racks are the perfect addition to your bike, whether you're a serious adventure rider or just using your bike as a daily commuter. The Pannier Racks are made from thick, 3/4 inch powder coated steel tubing and feature a 4-point mounting system for rugged durability. With these racks, you'll receive mounting hardware that allows you to mount the Tusk Panniers or most any other brand aluminum panniers or plastic Pelican type cases. Installation of the Tusk Pannier Racks is complete in just minutes. In this video, we'll be installing a set on a 2008 KLR650. Keep in mind this install will be the same for the 2008 and newer KLR650s. So to install these racks, the first thing we're going to do is pull both side panels and the seat. Doing this is going to give us access to the blinker wires and connectors. After that, we'll remove the 4 bolts holding the rear sub fender. After you pull all those out, we're just going to let it hang down. Doing that's going to reveal the right blinker wire, and we're going to need to reroute this for the install, so we'll need to pull it out of these retaining loops. Now just unplug it from the harness. As you can see, it's a gray connector. And just push it back towards the back under the fender. We're going to pull it out of both of those retaining loops. Once we get it out of those, we'll push it back up towards the front of the bike, underneath the rear fender. Then just loop it back around and we'll go ahead and reconnect it to the wiring harness. This is just giving us the slack we need after we relocate the blinker. So now we can reinstall the rear sub fender with the 4 bolts we just removed. Thread those all in and then go ahead and tighten them down. The next step is to remove the rear rack, and we do that by pulling out both top bolts and then bolt the side bolts as well. Once you've got those out, we're going to carefully flip the rack forward, making sure not to bind either blinker wire. Now pull both the blinkers by removing the 2 bolts holding each blinker in place. Make sure to remove the stock collars and rubber grommets as well, as these will not be needed for the Tusk Pannier Racks. We're also going to pull the stock helmet lock, and we'll remount this in its new location a little later in the video. Now just sit that rear rack aside. The next step is to cut the left blinker wire. You'll want to do this approximately 2 inches from where it goes through the rear fender. Now you can cut back the plastic sheathing and then strip a 1/4 inch off of each wire end. Next, we can begin installing the blinker extension by crimping a butt connector onto this red wire, and wire crimpers are best for this job. Since the green wire is positive, we'll connect the other end of this butt connector to the green wire. So we'll have green run to red, and we'll keep black with black. We're going to repeat these steps for both ends of the extension. And when you're finished, it should look something like this. Now just make sure your blinker works. We're going to wrap our connections with electrical tape to protect them from the elements. Reinstall the rear rack and the 2 top bolts to hold it there in place. At this point, we need to reinstall the left side panel for further assembly. The right panel is designed to be removed for air filter access with the racks installed, but the left one needs to be installed before we begin installing the racks. Now we need to remove the top passenger foot peg bolt from each side, and we can begin installing the racks. So hold it up into place, and we'll install the M8 by 80mm bolt into the middle mounting hole. The M8 by 35mm bolt is for the front mount, and then we'll use the 2 M6 by 25mm bolts to mount the blinker extension. So these will go through the extension, through the pannier rack, through the rear rack, and into the blinker extension backplate. And we're just going to leave all these bolts loose for now. Then we can just go ahead and repeat these steps to mount the other rack. So once you have both racks loosely mounted, we can go ahead and mount both blinkers in their new locations. We're just going to reuse the stock blinker bolts and nuts to do this. go ahead and tighten them down all the way. The next step is to mount the helmet lock on the rear support crossbar. It's a good idea to use a little medium strength thread locker on both these bolts, and we'll go ahead and bolt it to the bracket on the support bar. Thread both bolts in and then tighten both of them down. With the helmet lock on the left side, we're going to install the rear brace using the supplied M6 by 20mm bolts and nuts. Install the 2 bolts onto each side, and we're just going to leave these loose for now. Tighten down the rack mounting hardware for each rack. So we'll start with the middle mounting bolt, then move to the passenger foot peg bolt, and then we'll move up to both blinker extension mount bolts. Once you have all 8 bolts tight, go ahead and tighten down the 4 rear rack brace bolts. Now you want to zip tie the blinker wires to keep them up and out of the way. The rerouted right side blinker wire needs to be zip tied away from any pinch points underneath the seat. And now we've got the pannier racks completely installed, so we're ready to begin installation of the pannier boxes. We'll be installing a set of Tusk panniers, but these steps can be used to help mount many other types of panniers or luggage to these racks. First step is to install the rear pannier brace into the rack hoop. And now you'll want to get another set of hands to hold the pannier box in the desired location. It's important to leave enough room for the passenger's leg and foot if you ever plan on carrying a passenger. And then just make sure you've got it positioned exactly where you want it before marking the location of each hole in the brace onto the back side of the pannier box. Once you have the holes marked, remove the rear brace from the rack hoop and line it up with the marks on the pannier. We're going to mark 2 of the corner holes with the center punch, and then go ahead and drill them using either an 11/32 inch drill bit or a 3/8 inch drill bit. And then we're going to stick a bolt in both those holes to hold the brace in place while we drill the other holes. When all the holes have been drilled, take that pannier and sit it back to back with the other box. Then use a marker or tire pen to mark the location of the holes we just drilled onto the other pannier. Once you have them all marked, follow the same steps we used to drill the first pannier box. So after that, we can go ahead and start bolting one of the braces to each box. And it's not a bad idea to use a little medium strength thread locker on each of these bolts as they go in. On the lower 4 bolts, you want to use a big washer on the bolt and come out from the inside of the box so the nut is threaded on the outside. Doing this is going to make it easier to get your luggage in and out of the box. The top 3 bolts have to go in from the outside without using a washer. And then you need to install the inner brace onto those top 3 bolts. And once that's in place, go ahead and thread the 3 nuts onto the back side. And now that all the bolts are in place, we can just go ahead and tighten all them down. Once you're done with the first box, follow these same steps to mount the brace on the second box. So now that we have the braces mounted to each box, we need to test their fitment with the racks. Go ahead and install each box onto the racks, checking for tightness on the rack and alignment of the latch pin. If yours needs adjustment, we provided washers to space the box out from the mount ring. Keep in mind each application will be a little different. Some boxes will require a washer behind every hole, while others might require washers for only the top 3 holes. Some boxes might not even need any washers, so just keep this in mind. For pannier and latch assembly, you can refer to our Tusk Pannier box assembly video. Now just install the panniers onto the racks to make sure everything fits properly, and to make sure your latch pin is lining up. If everything looks good, we're going to mark the location for the locking knob on each box. Keep in mind these locking knobs are for security purposes only and are an optional accessory for your panniers. So with the locking knob in place and both lid latches locked, there's no way for anyone else to remove the panniers from your bike. You'll see the threaded hole in the top front corner of each hoop, and we're going to mark the location of this hole onto the back side of each pannier box. So with the box installed on the rack, you'll see there's not a lot of room behind the box to get in there and mark the locking knob hole. So we provided an extra bolt in your hardware kit to make this an easy task. Go ahead and pull the box from the rack, and we're going to thread this bolt into the locking knob hole. Doing this will allow us to mark the whole location onto the backside of our pannier. So thread the bolt in as far as it'll go and then reinstall the pannier box onto the rack. You'll want to make sure the box is pushed down as far as it will go, and then using a mallet or hammer, lightly tap the inside of the box over the head of the bolt. Go ahead and remove the pannier and you'll see the mark it left indicating where to drill. Now just drill out that hole using a 3/8 inch drill bit. When you've done that, remove the marking bolt from the locking knob hole and reinstall the pannier onto the rack. Thread the locking knob into place and you can repeat these steps for the other side. The last thing we need to do is reinstall the right side panel, if you haven't done it already, the seat. After that, you're done with the install. So when you're ready for adventure motorcycle riding, Tusk is ready to make your trip easier and more enjoyable. Tusk has also made convenient carrying handles for the Tusk Panniers available to help you with carrying your boxes to and from your bike. For more information on these carrying straps and the Tusk Pannier and Rack System, visit our website www.rockymountainatvmc.com. Rocky Mountain ATV MC carries all the dual sport and adventure rider parts, tools, gear, and accessories you need to be ready for your ride. We'll see you out on the trail.